The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
When Jesus heard of the death of John the Baptist, he withdrew in a boat to a deserted place by himself. The crowds heard of this and followed him on foot from their towns. When he disembarked and saw the vast crowd, his heart was moved with pity for them, and he cured their sick. When it was evening, the disciples approached him and said, "This is a deserted place, and it is already late. Dismiss the crowds so that they can go to the villages and buy food for themselves." Jesus said to them, "There is no need for them to go away. Give them some food yourselves." But they said to him, 5 loaves and 2 fish are all that we have here." Then he said, "Bring them here to me." And he ordered the crowds to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, Jesus said the blessing, broke the loaves, and gave them to the disciples, who in turn gave them to the crowds. They all ate and were satisfied. And they picked up the fragments left over, 12 wicker baskets full. Those who ate were about 5,000, not counting women and children. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
It's hard to believe that summer is almost over. I'm sure to the dismay of our children going back to school, but probably to the delight of their parents. It's always important for me when I think of Sunday the Lord's Day and getting ready to celebrate with the various parishes that I help out in, to think of what has been going on in my life and in the life of the world, and really making it personal. It's not just a ritual that we come to do each Sunday, the Lord's Day, or its vigil on Saturday. It's really helping us celebrate the activity of God in our lives every day, and that to bring that to His glory so that He can help us in all of our needs. As I look back upon not just this past week, but I'll say the month before, in July I made my annual priest retreat. I went to a Dominican retreat center up in Milwaukee, right on Lake Michigan. So a wonderful sight of nature to see how God's wonders and glory is all around us. We experience that here in Southern Illinois as well. A retreat or time away, and it could have been a vacation for some of you, or just something different that was special, is a chance for us to see God working in our lives and what's happening to and for us as we come to celebrate and think of how He's always there to help us out. Think of the first reading today. All you who are thirsty, all you who are hungry, that God will be there to give us what we need. And on retreat, I thought, what am I thirsty for in my life? What am I hungry for in my life? And I know we can all answer that in different ways, but the bottom line is the same for each one of us. We want that fullness of joy, knowing that God is with us, that we don't have to worry about things or trying to obtain this or that. We want peace and harmony in our hearts and in the relationships we have in our lives. We want that in the world too, because it does affect all of us in a variety of ways. So we need to be always praying for that there be an end to war, an end to starvation in poor countries or even in our cities. All of those things that can really build God's kingdom today. Another thing that has happened more recently to me is one of my extended family members out in California and Los Angeles passed away at the age of 94. Rosa was her name, Vanuelas. She was a Mexican immigrant years ago. Like so many of our families came over years ago to this country. She had lived a good life in her more recent years, suffered from dementia. But she is in-law to me by marriage because my niece of my stepfamily married her son out in California. So I was there for the wedding and baptism of their first child and so many other things. But part of the story is that the baptism of her granddaughter, her name was Sarah, happened tragically as she was going with her cousin and her cousin's child to Disneyland. And a person who was trying to commit suicide went the opposite direction on the interstate, collided with their vehicle, and dear Sarah died at the age of 17. The driver, her cousin, and her child were not harmed, but Sarah was. We never know when our lives are going to end. I even thought of that obviously on my retreat. We never know when the end of our life will be. Sarah's mother, my niece Brooke, about 20 years ago, it was discovered that she had a tumor on her brain. It was not cancer, but it was inoperable. So she lived with that condition until about 5 years ago when she died. So another heartache for dear Rosa, who was still living. Her husband was alive at that time, but died shortly after that. Then Rosa passed away, and I will be leaving actually this afternoon for Los Angeles to do the funeral for the family. So none of us know at whatever age, 17, 51, which was Brooke's age, or Rosa's age of 94, know when the end will be. But God promises, as we hear in our second reading, that no tragedy, no heartbreak, no difficult relationship, no loss of job, no whatever it is, will separate us from God's love, because He promises to be with us always. And that's why we're all here this morning, to give thanks for life and faith for loved ones, and to give thanks to God for His presence with us. And Jesus shows that in the gospel today too. From so little, 5 loaves and 2 fish, He fed the multitude of 5,000 plus. Because He was grateful and asked God's blessing, it took care of everything, and they even had leftovers. So let us renew our faith today as we gather as God's people. Let us remember those times when God was with us in those very difficult moments, whether in the death of a loved one or in sickness or whatever the situation happened to be. Let us remember that He will always feed us and nourish us, not just with food and heavenly food in the Eucharist, but also in every need we have. Because if God is at the center of our lives, everything else will work out